If you don't give the next 90 days a purpose, they'll disappear like the last 90 did. Let that sink in. Time isn't waiting. Life isn't slowing down. And the truth is, you don't need more information. You need transformation. But transformation doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from decision, from structure, from doing what most people won't, committing when no one's watching, executing when it's not exciting, and pushing forward when it gets uncomfortable. That's what this episode is. A challenge, a framework, a fire you light inside yourself and refuse to let go of. We're not here to talk about someday. We're here to talk about now and the 90 days ahead. No more random actions. No more vague intentions. If you follow these steps every day with intention, your habits will shift, your identity will evolve, and your future will feel like it was built on purpose, because it was. So if you're ready to stop repeating patterns, if you're done watching life pass by while you wait for motivation, then listen closely and act decisively. Let's begin. Step 1. Write down exactly what you want. If your goal is not written down, it doesn't exist. Not in your mind, not in the world, and certainly not in your behavior. People say they know what they want, but when you press them, they can't describe it clearly. They hesitate, they generalize, they hide behind vague terms like success, freedom, or happiness. But your brain doesn't execute vagueness. It responds to clarity. Writing down exactly what you want forces precision. It requires a confrontation with your own desire. Not what sounds good, not what looks good on social media, but what actually burns inside you when the noise fades and you're left with your own truth. It's no accident that ancient Stoics like Epictetus taught that if you want to be free, you must first know what you truly want. Without that, you're a slave to the world's demands, opinions, and distractions. Your time becomes scattered, your actions become reactive, and your days pass without weight or direction. So ask yourself, right now, what do you want to build over the next 90 days? Not in the abstract. I'm talking about something measurable, tangible, something you could hold in your hand, point to on a calendar, or describe in one clear sentence. Maybe it's losing 15 pounds. Maybe it's launching your side business. Maybe it's reading 10 books or getting your finances in order. Whatever it is, it must live on paper first, not just in your head. Why? Because the act of writing is not passive, it's neurological reinforcement. It forces the mind to slow down and get specific. It turns a passing thought into an anchored intention, and once something is written, it becomes a contract. Not with the world, but with yourself. A visible reminder of your mission. A mirror that reflects your aim every time your willpower fades. Don't write it once and forget it. Rewrite it until it feels like it belongs to you. Until every word hits like a statement of identity. I will lose 15 pounds in 90 days. I will write 500 words every day and complete my book. I will eliminate debt by tracking every dollar and making consistent payments. Whatever your goal is, write it in present tense, with power, as if it's already yours. Don't hide behind I hope or I wish. That language weakens your intent. Use certainty, clarity, weight. Speak as someone who already lives in alignment with that result. And here's a Stoic truth most people forget. Intention without awareness is self-deception. If you don't define what you're chasing, every excuse will seem valid. But once it's in writing, the line becomes clear. You either moved closer today, or you didn't. There's no more hiding in ambiguity. So grab a notebook, not your phone, not a note app. Use your hand. Feel the words as you write them. Let the ink become the first act of creation, because every major achievement, every transformation, every shift in identity starts with the courage to declare what you want. It may feel small, it may feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the start of change. It means you're finally choosing your direction instead of waiting for life to hand you one. You don't rise by chance, you rise by choice. And every powerful choice starts by being written down. So write it today, write it again tomorrow. And by the end of this challenge, it won't just be a sentence, it'll be a reality. Step 2. Set a clear deadline. A dream without a deadline is a fantasy. It feels good to think about. It gives you a false sense of progress, but it leads nowhere. The mind needs structure, not just inspiration. A clear deadline gives your desire a container. It forces action. It eliminates the escape routes your brain is so good at inventing. When there's no time limit, later always sounds like a valid option. And later is where most dreams go to die. We like to believe that just because something matters to us, we'll eventually get around to it. But life doesn't reward what matters to you. It rewards what you move toward consistently and under pressure. That's why a deadline isn't about stress. It's about focus. It's not there to scare you. It's there to sharpen you. Your mind is built to respond to urgency. Just look at what happens when you're under pressure. When a flight is leaving in 2 hours, you pack fast. When a presentation is due tomorrow, you finally sit down and do the work. Pressure forces clarity. It removes distractions. It pulls energy out of places you didn't know you had. So why wait for emergencies to become urgent? Why not engineer the urgency yourself? That's what a 90-day challenge is. It's not arbitrary. It's a deadline with enough space to build something meaningful, but not so much space that you get lazy. It's short enough to feel real, long enough to require growth. And that balance is key. The Stoics understood this. Seneca wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." In other words, stop living like you have forever. You don't. Every day that passes without progress is one you don't get back. That's not fear-mongering. That's math. That's truth. So when you give yourself a clear deadline, you're not limiting your freedom. You're reclaiming it. You're telling your brain, this matters. This is the window. And we're not drifting anymore. Here's what happens the moment you assign a date to your goal. Your brain starts rearranging your behavior. Your subconscious begins to notice time differently. Procrastination feels heavier. Distractions feel more obvious. You become aware of the cost of delay. And that awareness is power, because most people move through life unconscious of time. They don't track it, they don't respect it, and they definitely don't use it with purpose. So decide right now, what's the exact day you're committing to? Not 3 months from now, not by the end of summer. I mean a real day. Put it on the calendar. Write it under your goal. Let it stare back at you every morning and whisper, are you getting closer or wasting time again? And don't just set a deadline, break it down. Divide the 90 days into 3 30-day checkpoints. What should be done by day 30? Where do you need to be at day 60? What must be finished by day 90? This turns the fog of the future into visible terrain. It gives you milestones, and milestones build momentum. You don't climb a mountain by looking at the peak. You climb it by taking the next clear step. On time, every time. You'll be tempted to loosen the deadline. You'll hear that little voice say, it's okay, just give it more time. But that voice is not your friend. It's comfort disguised as logic, and comfort is the enemy of change. So give your dream a due date and treat it like one. This is no longer a wish. It's a mission with a finish line. Step 3. Decide what you'll give in return. Nothing worth having comes without a price. That's not negativity. That's balance. That's the invisible law that governs everything meaningful in life. The law of exchange. You want growth? Then prepare to give up comfort. You want clarity? Then prepare to step into silence. You want mastery? Then prepare to surrender distraction, laziness, and every excuse that feels good but gets you nowhere. The universe is always watching how much you're willing to give, not just in money or time, but in sacrifice. The real cost of achieving your goal is hidden in what you're willing to let go of. Most people never succeed, not because they're not smart or talented, but because they're not willing to pay the price. They want the result, but not the responsibility. They want the outcome, but not the effort. The Stoics were brutally honest about this. Epictetus said, "You must be willing to pay the price. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things." In other words, you must choose your pain, the pain of discipline, or the pain of regret, the pain of doing the work, or the pain of watching someone else do it while you scroll and wish. This is the part most people skip when they set goals. They get excited about the vision, they write the deadline, they picture the result, but they never ask, what am I willing to give up for this? That's why nothing changes, because change doesn't happen without loss. Something has to die. An old habit, a toxic comfort, a time-wasting routine. So ask yourself, right now, what will I give in return? Maybe it's 2 hours of wasted time each evening, sacrificed for focused work. Maybe it's Netflix or endless YouTube rabbit holes. Maybe it's sleeping in. Maybe it's people, yes, people, who drain your energy, mock your ambition, or distract you from your mission. If you don't remove what's holding you back, no progress can stick. It'll keep slipping through your fingers while you blame the goal, or the timing, or your luck. This challenge, these 90 days, isn't about adding more to your life. It's about subtraction, removing the unnecessary, burning the bridges to your old patterns, clearing space for something better. Because without space, nothing new can grow. And don't just say you're willing to sacrifice. Be specific. Write it down. What exactly are you cutting out? What will you no longer tolerate from yourself? What is now non-negotiable? Think of it like a sacred trade. You're trading what's easy for what's meaningful. You're trading now for later. Pleasure for progress. You're signing a contract, and your payment is paid daily in discomfort, in discipline, and in doing the hard thing even when no one is watching. But here's the twist. Once you decide what you'll give, everything else becomes easier. The decision eliminates debate. You don't have to fight with yourself anymore. You just follow through. That's freedom. That's power. Because once you've counted the cost, and you've accepted it, you stop wishing and start working. You're not hoping anymore. You're investing. And if you stay consistent, the return will be worth every second you gave up. Step 4. Create a definite plan. Random actions lead to random results. That's the hard truth. You can have the clearest vision in the world, the strongest desire, and even the willingness to sacrifice. But if your steps are scattered, inconsistent, or undefined, your progress will always be limited. The mind craves direction, the soul craves structure. Without a plan, your energy leaks into everything and builds nothing. Think of building a house. You don't just show up with bricks and enthusiasm. You need blueprints. You need a step-by-step sequence. You need to know what comes first, the foundation, not the rooftop. The same applies to building your life. Passion is your bricks, but planning is the blueprint. Without it, all you'll have is a pile of effort with no structure. A definite plan doesn't mean a perfect one. It means something real, something written, something you can measure and improve. You don't need a 100-step outline with color codes. What you need is clarity on three things. What's the first step? What will you do daily? And how will you measure if it's working? Let's say your 90-day goal is to get in the best shape of your life. A vague plan is, I'll work out more. A definite plan is, I will train 4 days a week, track my meals, get 8 hours of sleep, and weigh in every Friday. Do you feel the difference? One is intention, the other is instruction. Or say your goal is to launch a business. A random plan is, I'll try to figure it out. A definite plan is, I will study 1 hour each morning, build a landing page by week 2, launch a prototype by week 4, and run a marketing test by day 30. You don't have to know everything, but you do need to define something. Why? Because action loves structure, and the brain, as neuroscience has shown, performs better when it has clearly defined tasks. Vague goals activate fear. Clear steps activate momentum. This is also where most people get stuck. They wait for the perfect plan. They research endlessly. They overthink. But the Stoics would laugh at this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one. Applied here. Stop debating the perfect strategy. Just start building. A plan isn't supposed to be final. It's supposed to be functional. You refine as you go. The first version won't be perfect, and that's okay. What matters is that you're no longer floating. You're no longer waking up hoping to feel productive. You know what needs to be done, and you do it. Here's how to make your plan definite. Write down your 90-day outcome in one clear sentence. Then ask yourself, what must I do every week to move closer? Break that down into daily actions. Include checkpoints, include deadlines, and include flexibility. Not for laziness, but for life. Make it visual. Use a wall calendar, a checklist, a journal, whatever speaks to your brain. The more you see the plan, the more likely you are to follow it. And every time you complete a task, you reinforce your identity as someone who finishes. A plan is more than a tool. It's a commitment. It's a compass that prevents emotional drift. On the hard days, and there will be many, your plan becomes your anchor. When motivation is gone, your schedule takes over. That's discipline. That's maturity. That's the path. So build a plan, even if it's rough. Execute it, even if it's messy. Adjust it, but never abandon it. This isn't just about goals. It's about building the kind of person who creates outcomes on purpose. Step 5. Repeat your goal, morning and night. You can't rewire your brain once and expect it to stick, just like you can't train once and expect to stay strong. Repetition is how the mind learns, and it's how identity is formed. What you say to yourself, you eventually believe, and what you believe, you start to live. The world might shape your environment, but only you can shape your inner world. And you do that through repetition. Every morning and every night, you have a small window of power. In those few minutes, right after you wake up and right before you sleep, your brain is in a hyper-suggestible state. The filters are down. The subconscious is listening. That's not woo-woo psychology. That's neuroscience. It's how habits, fears, and even traumas are formed. But it's also how transformation begins. So what do most people do with that window? They check notifications. They replay yesterday's failures. They drift through the morning and crash into sleep. That's like planting weeds in the most fertile soil you'll ever have, and then wondering why nothing grows but chaos. You, on the other hand, are going to do it differently. You're going to speak your goal out loud twice a day with focus, clarity, and emotion, and not just like you're reading a sentence, but like you mean it. Like it's already yours. Like you're reminding your nervous system what it's about to become. This is what ancient philosophers understood. The Stoics practiced daily repetition of values, writing, reciting, visualizing their virtues. Epictetus taught that we should constantly rehearse what we believe, because the mind forgets. And in modern terms, the brain rewires through what you consistently fire. So say your goal. Let it become your internal command. Say it with your chest in the morning when the day is still yours to shape. Say it again at night before your unconscious takes over. Because what you sleep on, your brain strengthens. Let's make this practical. Write your goal down in a single sentence. For example, I am becoming financially free by building a successful online business in the next 90 days. Then say it out loud. Every morning when you wake up. Every night before bed. Visualize it. Feel it. Don't just speak, believe. And yes, at first it'll feel strange, maybe even fake. But here's the truth. Most of what you currently believe about yourself is also fake, planted there by repetition. So now you're just taking back the pen. The more you repeat your goal, the more you train your subconscious to look for opportunities, to filter out distractions, to act in alignment with your purpose. Over time, it starts to feel natural. You stop questioning whether you can, and you begin operating as if you already are. This isn't magic, it's momentum. And if you don't do this, then your environment will repeat its message for you, and it won't be one that serves your vision. You'll wake up to noise, negativity, and urgency that isn't yours. You'll fall asleep with doubts you never chose to believe. But not anymore. For the next 90 days, you own your mornings. You control your nights. You speak your goal like it matters, because it does. And eventually, you won't just believe it. You'll become it. Step 6. See it, feel it, believe it. Visualization is not fantasy. It's training. It's rehearsal. It's the quiet craft of becoming before you arrive. Long before the body achieves something, the mind must see it. And not just in passing, but in full color, full feeling and full presence. When you close your eyes and imagine your goal as already complete, something profound happens. Your nervous system starts firing as if it's real. Your muscles respond. Your emotions activate. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's physically experienced. And that's exactly what gives you the power to rewire your reality. Think of an athlete standing in the tunnel before a championship game. He's not just waiting, he's seeing. He's already walked onto the field 1,000 times in his head. He's felt the sweat, the noise, the impact. By the time he takes that first step in reality, it feels familiar. It feels earned. That's what you're doing now. Except your field might be a business, a body transformation, a new chapter of your life. Whatever it is, don't just wish for it. Enter it. See it with such intensity that your brain starts believing you've already crossed the threshold. Start simple. Each morning after saying your goal aloud, close your eyes. Picture it done, not just one day, but now. Picture how you'll stand, breathe, move, speak, who you'll be, what's around you, what you feel in your chest. Let the feeling rise, because that emotion is the fuel that makes the image stick. Stoic philosophy doesn't reject imagination, it disciplines it. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is how you use that power. You don't visualize to escape reality. You visualize to build it. But here's the key. Don't just see it. Feel it. You can stare at a picture of the ocean, or you can step into it in your mind. Feel the tension in your hands as you shake the hand of your future self. Hear your name spoken with respect. See the people who doubted you now watching in silence. Taste the victory, not with arrogance, but with deep internal certainty. Why does this matter? Because your emotional brain drives your decisions. You don't act on what's logical. You act on what you feel real. If success still feels like a distant dream, your body won't pursue it with urgency. But if it feels close, if it feels inevitable, your actions will change. You'll stop hesitating. You'll move like someone who's already on the path. And no, this isn't about just thinking positive. It's about mental conditioning. Soldiers visualize missions. Olympians visualize gold. CEOs visualize outcomes. They don't leave the mind to chance, and neither should you. If you spend just 5 minutes a day, eyes closed, jaw set, vision clear, the rest of your day will feel different, more aligned, more energized, more intentional, and that changes everything. So from now on, when you say your goal, don't stop there. See it, feel it, believe it, and then act like it's already yours. Because once your mind believes, your life follows. Step 7. Act daily. No excuses. A dream without action is a distraction. That's the hard truth. You can visualize all day, repeat affirmations, make vision boards, read books. But if you're not moving, you're stuck in illusion. And illusion is the most comfortable prison you'll ever live in. That's why this part of the 90-day challenge is non-negotiable. Daily action. Every single day, no matter what. You don't need to climb the entire mountain in one go. You just need to take a step. But that step must happen today, not when you're motivated, not when life calms down, not when the timing feels perfect. Because perfect timing is a myth told by procrastinators to justify their delay. What separates winners from wishers is not talent, it's traction, small, relentless movement. A writer writes every day, even when the words don't come. A fighter trains every day, even when he's sore. A builder lays one brick at a time, even when the building seems too far. That's not discipline, that's identity. It's who they are. And now, it's who you become. You won't feel like it most days. That's expected, but feelings are weather, they pass. Action is foundation, it stays. This is where most people fall off. They wait to feel ready. They wait to be in the mood. But you don't need permission from your emotions. You need alignment with your vision. And that vision demands movement. So how do you make this sustainable? You lower the resistance. If your goal is writing a book, your daily action might be writing just 100 words. That's it. Not 10 pages. Not perfection. Just 100 real, ugly, raw words. And tomorrow, maybe 100 more. If your goal is fitness, it might be a 15-minute workout. Not a perfect plan, just showing up. If it's business, maybe it's reaching out to one new contact a day. The power isn't in the scale, it's in the consistency. James Clear said it best. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your system is simple now. Act every day. No 0 days, no excuses, just motion. Because motion breeds clarity, and clarity breeds momentum. This is also where Stoicism shines. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That means don't just think stoically, live it. Be the one who acts while others wait. Be the one who builds while others talk. Let your behavior be the loudest statement you make. And here's a truth you'll discover fast. The act of starting is the hardest part. But once you begin, energy builds, focus returns, self-respect grows. You're no longer watching your life, you're steering it. You don't need to do something heroic each day. You just need to do something. Show up when it's hard. Move when you're tired. Act when you don't see results yet. Because that's what transforms you. Not the outcome, but the process of showing up when it would be easier not to. And at the end of 90 days, you won't just have progress. You'll have a habit. You'll have a new identity. You'll look back and realize, I didn't wait. I moved. I didn't break. I built. So today, act. Not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Step 8. Protect your mind from negativity. It doesn't matter how powerful your vision is or how solid your plan seems. If your mind becomes polluted with doubt, fear, and noise, that vision collapses from the inside. Negativity is not just unpleasant. It's corrosive. It eats away at your belief, your focus, your drive, quietly, slowly, until you stop moving and don't even know why. That's why during this 90-day transformation, one of your most important duties is to guard your mind like a warrior guards a gate. You don't let just anyone walk in and destroy what you've built. So why let negative thoughts, people, and environments ruin what you're working so hard to create? Here's the reality. Most people are carrying mental toxins. Some are aware of it, most aren't. They'll pour their doubts into you. They'll mock your ambition. They'll question your discipline, not because you're wrong, but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your fire exposes their cold. And then there's the negativity you feed yourself, the constant scroll of anxiety-filled news, the cynical social media posts, the self-sabotaging thoughts whispering, "Who are you to try this?" That's the poison. And if you drink it every day, don't be surprised when your will to act dries up. Marcus Aurelius warned us centuries ago, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. That means your mental environment is not something to leave to chance. You must curate it, choose it, clean it. So, how do you protect your mind? Start with silence. Cut the noise. Spend less time absorbing and more time aligning. Create quiet space each morning. No phone, no internet, no distractions. Let your first thoughts be your own, not the world's chaos. Second, audit your inputs. What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? What are you allowing into your emotional bloodstream? If it doesn't lift, focus, or teach you, cut it out. Don't feel guilty for unfollowing someone. Don't apologize for spending less time around people who drain your energy. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Third, rewrite the script. When you catch a negative thought, don't just tolerate it. Confront it. Replace it. If your mind says, "I can't," you respond, "I'm becoming the person who can." Not blind positivity, just mental discipline. Just truth. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. Fourth, create your own mental armor. That means daily reinforcement. Read content that fuels your focus. Listen to voices that align with your mission. Fill your space with reminders of who you're becoming. Affirmations, quotes, symbols, anything that reminds you, you're not who you were, you're who you decide to be. Negativity thrives in unguarded minds, so don't give it that chance. During this challenge, your greatest enemy won't be failure. It'll be the moment you start believing you can't. And that moment often starts with a single negative seed, planted by someone else, watered by your silence, and grown by your inaction. so kill it early. Don't let it root. You're not just changing habits, you're transforming identity. And that identity requires a clean space to grow. Your mind is that space. Protect it, and it will protect you back. Step 9. Use autosuggestion to rewire belief. You talk to yourself more than you talk to anyone else. Every day, thousands of silent messages echo inside your head, shaping your identity, your self-worth, and your possibilities. The question is, are those messages building you or breaking you? Autosuggestion is the practice of consciously directing those messages. It's not about lying to yourself, it's about programming yourself. Because whether you realize it or not, your subconscious mind is always listening. And it doesn't judge what's true or false, it simply takes repetition as reality. That's why people who constantly say, "I'm tired," stay tired. Those who repeat, "I'm unlucky," keep attracting chaos. And the ones who whisper, "I'm not good enough," eventually act like it's true, even when it's not. The subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant consistently, it grows. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Autosuggestion is the medium by which one may reach and influence the subconscious mind." And this isn't just philosophy, it's neuroscience. Studies show that repeated thoughts strengthen neural pathways. The more you affirm something, even silently, the more your brain starts to believe and behave accordingly. So if you want to build an unstoppable mindset over the next 90 days, start talking to yourself like someone you're becoming, not someone you're escaping. That means crafting a few powerful, personal affirmations. Statements that reflect the version of you you're stepping into. Not, "I hope I'll succeed," but "I take action every day and I finish what I start." Not, "I want to be confident," but I am calm, focused, and grounded under pressure. Not, "Maybe I can change," but "I'm becoming the most disciplined version of myself now." You don't have to say them out loud in front of a mirror, although you can. What matters is frequency and intensity. Say them in the morning when you wake. Say them at night before sleep. Say them under your breath during moments of doubt. You're not just reminding yourself, you're rewriting yourself. Here's the key. Belief doesn't come before the words. It comes because of them. You might not feel strong when you say, "I'm unshakable." You might feel fear as you repeat, "I'm prepared to succeed." But that's the point. You say it until the internal resistance breaks, until the new pattern takes over, until your subconscious starts creating the actions to match the words you've repeated with intention. Epictetus taught us, "You become what you give your attention to." In the same way, you become what you repeat with conviction. But here's the warning. Autosuggestion works both ways. If you constantly say, "I can't," or "I'll never," you're also training your subconscious. You're hardwiring defeat into your mind before you even begin. That's why awareness is the first step. You must catch the mental scripts you've inherited and replace them with the ones you've chosen. Autosuggestion is not magic. It's not wishing. It's training. It's planting the idea, watering it with repetition, feeding it with emotion, protecting it from weeds of doubt, and letting your brain, that powerful, programmable machine, do the rest. Over the next 90 days, speak like someone who's serious, not about looking motivated, but about becoming transformed. Because your words are not just sounds, they are blueprints, and every repetition lays a brick in the structure of who you are becoming. Step 10. Expect obstacles. Overcome them silently. You will be tested. That's not a possibility, it's a guarantee. The moment you commit to real change, life pushes back. Not because it's cruel, but because it's checking if you're serious. Resistance is not a punishment. It's a question. And the way you answer isn't by shouting louder. It's by acting deeper. Most people fold the moment they hit a wall. They complain, they explain, they look for someone to blame. But a Stoic doesn't. He expects the wall. He prepares for it. And when it comes, he doesn't whine. He adjusts. Quietly. Powerfully. Without drama. Without needing applause. There's strength in silence. In a world obsessed with showing every emotion, every struggle, every setback, true strength is found in those who endure quietly, who face the storm and keep walking, who don't need sympathy, likes, or validation, because they're not performing for an audience. They're building for real. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The same applies here. You don't have to explain why you're still going. You don't need to justify the delays, the failures, the pivots. Your actions are the explanation. Your discipline is the response. Let people wonder how you keep moving while you focus on the next step. During these 90 days, the question is not, will something go wrong? It's, what will I do when it does? Will you break? Or will you bend, adapt, and continue? Because here's the truth. The obstacle isn't the end. It's the training. It's life showing you the weak spots in your plan, in your mindset, in your habits. Every setback is a lesson in disguise, but only if you're willing to see it that way. If your schedule gets disrupted, you restructure it. If your energy dips, you adjust your pace, not your mission. If your environment becomes hostile, you find a way to protect your mental space and keep going. But above all, you do it quietly. There's no need to broadcast your struggle. Let the noise die down and become the calm in the middle of it. When you act in silence, your results speak with power. And your identity, your sense of self, becomes forged in the fire of calm persistence. You're not avoiding emotion, you're mastering it. You're not suppressing difficulty, you're transforming it. That's what Stoicism teaches us, that the external world may be chaotic, but the internal world can remain still. You may face obstacles, yes, but you don't have to become them. When the world shouts, slow down. When things fall apart, stay intact. When plans change, remain committed to the principle, even if the path shifts. This doesn't mean you're indifferent. It means you're intentional. You move with purpose, not panic. And that alone separates you from the many who quit at the first sign of difficulty. Remember this, no one needs to know what you're enduring. Because in 90 days, when results start to speak, the silence will have said everything. Step 11. Track your progress. Weekly. Most people work hard, but they never look back. They keep moving, keep pushing, but they never stop to ask, did I actually improve? Am I closer to the goal or just busier than last week? That's the trap. Mistaking movement for progress, and the only way to escape it is to measure. Weekly tracking isn't just about numbers, it's about awareness. It's the moment you step back and become the architect of your own life. Without it, you're building blindly, but with it, every step becomes intentional. You're no longer guessing, you're adapting. Imagine someone training at the gym without ever counting reps, tracking weight, or noting how they feel. Would they grow? Maybe a little, but not with precision, not with mastery. The same is true for your mental discipline, your goals, your routine, your identity. And this doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as asking yourself every Sunday night, what did I do this week that moved me closer to my goal? Where did I slip and why? What needs to change in the next 7 days? You're not judging yourself. You're studying yourself. You're observing the system, not shaming the person. That's the Stoic way. Self-awareness without self-punishment. Marcus Aurelius wrote nightly in his journal, not because he was weak, but because he was wise. He knew that without reflection, the mind drifts, the discipline fades, and you slowly return to old patterns without realizing it. So he checked in, quietly, honestly, repeatedly. That's what you need to do for the next 90 days. Set a reminder. Create a ritual. Maybe it's every Sunday with a notebook, or every Friday evening with a voice memo. The medium doesn't matter. The habit does. You track not to obsess over perfection, but to observe direction. It's not about punishing your failures. It's about catching the patterns before they become identity. Maybe you'll notice that you skip your habits on weekends. Maybe you'll realize you procrastinate when the task feels too big. Maybe you'll catch that your energy crashes every afternoon, and you've been fighting it instead of managing it. These are insights, and insights are power, but only if you're willing to pause and look for them. Most people don't. That's why they repeat the same week 52 times and call it a year. But you're building something different. You're not moving blindly. You're adjusting intentionally. Because when you track progress weekly, something powerful happens. You start seeing yourself as the person who improves, even slowly, even imperfectly. And that belief, it fuels the next week, and the one after that, until the momentum becomes unstoppable. So don't rely on memory, don't rely on vibes, rely on the data of your own actions. Measure, reflect, adjust, repeat. The mirror doesn't lie if you're willing to look into it. And in 90 days, those quiet reviews, they'll speak louder than any motivational speech ever could. Step 12. Stay committed, especially when it's hard. Anyone can be consistent when it's easy, when the energy is high, when the weather is good, when the motivation is flowing. But that's not commitment, that's convenience. Commitment shows up when everything else wants to shut down. When the plan breaks, when the body's tired, when no one's clapping, but you still keep going. There's a reason why so few people truly transform. It's not intelligence, it's not talent, it's not luck. It's because most people fall in love with the idea of change, but not the process. They like the results, not the discipline. They want the victory, not the battle. But if you're serious about becoming someone new in 90 days, then the hard days are the most important. Not the ones where it all flows, but the ones where it doesn't. That's when your identity is forged. Not when it's easy, but when you choose to continue anyway. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He didn't mean suffering for the sake of it. He meant that difficulty is the weight that strengthens your resolve. And each time you lift that weight, by showing up on a hard day, you build something that no one can take from you. Because every time you honor your commitment, especially when no one sees, especially when you don't feel like it, you reinforce the belief, I am someone who finishes what I start. And that belief, it changes everything. It changes how you talk to yourself. It changes how others see you. It changes what becomes possible, because you've proven that your word means something. Here's what most don't realize. Motivation is fleeting, but identity is permanent. When you stay consistent on the days you'd rather quit, you're not just chasing a goal, you're becoming someone new, someone solid, someone unstoppable. Even if you stumble, even if you fail, even if you take a wrong step, it doesn't matter. As long as you return to the path, you're still winning. So build a ritual around these hard moments. When it's tough, tell yourself, this is the moment that matters most. When it's uncomfortable, remind yourself, this is where strength is built. And when your mind tries to negotiate, maybe I'll skip just this once, you answer calmly, no, I've come too far to break the chain. You see, the last few days of a 90-day challenge aren't where you finish. They're where you begin to realize this isn't just a 90-day thing anymore. It's who you've become. And once you taste that power, the discipline, the clarity, the control, you won't want to go back. Because the real win isn't the achievement. It's the new version of you that earned it. So finish strong. And remember this. The hard days aren't interruptions. They are the transformation. This isn't just about setting goals or building habits. It's about proving something deeper to yourself. Proving that for once, you can commit. You can stay the course. You can break the pattern of quitting halfway and calling it timing. Because the truth is harsh, but simple. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another strategy. You need to decide. That's the word. Decide that for the next 90 days, you will be disciplined even when it's boring, focused even when no one's watching, and relentless even when your energy drops to zero. No one's coming to do this for you. And if you quit now, if you justify it, excuse it, delay it, the only person who pays the price is you. But if you go all in, just 90 days, you'll look back and realize you've rewired your mind, you've rebuilt your habits, you've redefined who you are, and most importantly, you'll know that when things get hard, you don't run anymore, you rise. So write the goal, say it aloud, feel it in your bones, then go do what 99% won't. Show up every damn day, no matter what, and let the next 90 days change everything. Not because you were perfect, but because this time you finished what you started.